Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel once more. It's only me here, Bong Young. Um, and thank you for clicking on this video. I appreciate it. Before I start today, really, I want to just thank all those who have been able to watch my videos so far, like them, and especially those of you who have taken the pains and the time to subscribe to this channel. I really do appreciate you. And so, yeah, please continue to share, like, and encourage others to tune in and see what we've got to share. And by the way, I just want to say some of the topics I discuss here, I am no expert at any of the topics. They're just things that I'm particularly passionate about, and I just want to have this platform so that we can share them and discuss them. And so if you've got any questions and any topics or burning things you would like to see raised and discussed here, please don't hold back. Just comment and we will look into it in future series and videos. So today, I guess if you've clicked on this video, is because you're just wondering, like myself, what the fuss is about love, especially in this day and age when the word love is misconstrued and misinterpreted and has very many meanings. So we will just get into it, and I just want to start with a song of praise. You are Alpha and Omega. We worship you, our God. You are worthy to be praised. You are Alpha and Omega. We worship you, our God. You are worthy to be praised. We give you all the glory. We worship you, our God. You are worthy to be praised. We give you all the glory. We worship you, our God. You are worthy to be praised. So, what's the fuss about love? Right. I'm going to start by looking at types of love. Now, I've got a piece of paper on which I was making a couple of notes. And on here, I've got types of love, 8 types of love. My source is actually a website called Lifehack, and on there a certain Dr. Carol Morgan has put 8 types of love. We all know agape and eros, but I'm going to go through very quickly what she says on there about these different types of love. So on the top one, number 1, is the agape love, which is unconditional love, selfless, Christian, spiritual, sacrificial love, if you like. So it's a kind of love which I would describe as, if you're a Christian, the type of love that Christ had for the church or that God had for humanity. It is unconditional. So you love without expecting something back. The second type of love is eros. And on here, she describes it as romantic love, passionate, very physical, an expression of sexual desire. And there's a little note on this one which says this kind of love tends to burn out quickly. And why not? I can understand that. You know, when something is erotic, it's just instant gratification. And then what? Third type, philia. Philia love is affectionate, is a kind of love you have for your friends. It's kind of like an equal love. And there was a note on this one which says the ancient Greek considered this kind of love better than eros. And it also says that Plato argued that although people associate love with romance, that physical attraction wasn't really necessary for love, or wasn't necessary. Yeah, that it wasn't necessary for love. Then the fourth kind of love is philotia. I've never seen this one before. It's spelled Philautia. Philotia, and it's called self-love. So the word self-love I know, but I didn't know the word philotia. And self-love, sometimes it can be misconstrued as negative, as in prideful, someone who is full of themselves and only loves themselves. But in this context, it's actually more positive than negative. And it's a kind of self-love where you learn to love yourself so that you can be able to love others or love somebody else, so that you can share, because how can you love someone if you don't have love for yourself in the first place? So it's that kind of love. The fifth love is called storge, and in bracket they call it familiar love. And here it's again similar to filial love. So it's a kind of love you can have for your friends, but here it goes a step further to say it's more like a parent-child kind of love. So basically no physical attraction or sexual attraction and desires. The sixth kind of love, they say, is pragma, enduring love. And this kind of love is opposite to eros. And this is described as matured and developed over a period of time. Usually people in their older age and who may have loved from a young age, maybe school days, maybe in their youth, and have grown in love together to their old age. So that's a very good love, enduring love. The seventh one is ludus, and this one is termed a playful kind of love. It says with this kind of love, people have a feeling of infatuation. It's that kind of love where you have butterflies in your stomach. For those of you who've been in love before, you get giddiness. You have that feeling of giddiness when you see the person that you love or that you think you love, and you always want them to be around. So when they're not around, you're not happy, and when they're around, you're kind of giddy and just excited. So in brackets, they kind of put a little clause here to say this sort of love makes people's brains work like they have cocaine. So when they've taken cocaine, that's how they feel, a bit excited. The eighth one and the last one is mania love, and this is called in bracket obsessive love. So this is not particularly good because of its obsessive nature, can lead to madness, jealousy, or even anger. In this kind of love, the person who is in love fears to lose the object of their love, and this can compel them to do some crazy things. So, having gone through all of these different types of love, the question now is, what is love? And so I have my idea of what I think love is. And I guess my idea of love has changed over the years. Just like you, I am sure when we grow up, our first notion of love, we see that when our parents show us love in different ways. Words of affirmation from our parents, the way they act towards us, the things they do with us shows us that they love us. So that's our first experience of love. And then as we grow up, the connections we start to make with people, we start to experience different kinds of loves, and then relationships, and then it evolves to various things, which we're going to look into shortly. And so when I just decided to go to Google and find out what Google defines as love. And here's what Google says. Google says love is the first meaning, an intense feeling of deep affection. For example, babies feel parents with feelings of love. The second meaning was a great interest and pleasure in something. For example, someone's love for football or for a particular television program, for instance. Then we had a third thing there that said a feeling of deep affection or sexual love for someone. For example, when you have questions like, do you love me? Do you really love me? That's it. And so that just leads me to what people really define as love in this day and age. And I have noticed that love sometimes is misconstrued, and people consider different words to mean love. When someone fancies someone, others interpret it as love. When somebody becomes infatuated with someone, some people interpret it as love. And I saw words like someone being smitten, or someone being besotted, or someone having a crush on someone. And all of these can be misconstrued for love, but they really aren't love. Because of that, I want to read for me what I would consider love. And the reason I want to go to this is because I had a moment of epiphany, I would say. A moment of epiphany just over a year ago. Sometimes we go to church, we listen to the word, and year in, year out, we listen to the word of God. And sometimes it just resonates with us differently at different points in our lives. So I don't know about you, but here's the one that touched me in a particular way sometime last year. And I'm going to read from First Corinthians. Let's see, First Corinthians 13, verse 1 to 8. First Corinthians 13, verse 1 to 8. This is what it says. I may be able to speak the languages of human beings and even of angels. But if I have no love, my speech is no more than a noisy gong or a clanging bell. I may have the gift of inspired preaching. I may have all the knowledge and understand all secrets. I may have all the faith needed to move mountains. But if I have no love, I am nothing. I may give away everything I have and even give up my body to be burned. But if I have no love, this does me no good. Love is patient and kind. It is not jealous or conceited or proud. Love is not ill-mannered or selfish or irritable. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. Love is not happy with evil, but is happy with truth. Love never gives up, and its faith, hope, and patience never fail. Love is eternal. There are inspired messages, but they are temporary. There are gifts of speaking in strange tongues, but they will cease. There is knowledge, but it will pass. Now, we've just listened to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the first 8 verses. It tells us what love is and what love is not. And I couldn't agree more. Love is sacrificial. That is what love is. And I want to mention a priest who made a very good analogy of this once. There was a video I once watched on social media. And a priest kindly explained, I think I've mentioned this before as well. The way love is, true love, we're talking about true love, because maybe I should start talking about love and true love. The way true love works, when you love truly and honestly and sincerely and sacrificially, you expect nothing in return. You just love. You just love. That is the kind of love that is pure love. And this priest gave an example by actually calling someone from the congregation and saying, I can love this person for no reason, just because I love him or just because I love her. And true love means that regardless whether this person loves me back or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I love them. And I don't love them because I expect them to love me back. I just love them. That kind of love is pure sacrificial love. And it's the kind of love that is being described here. It's the kind of love that doesn't hold grudges. It's the kind of love that forgives. It's the kind of love that endures. And what I liked here is the section where it says, I may have all the faith needed to move mountains, but if I don't have love, I am nothing. I may give away everything I have and even give my body to be burned, but if I have no love, this does me no good. That phrase, that verse there, I'm thinking about people who may be charitable, because it says, I may give away everything. Someone might argue and say, but if you're giving away everything, that's a sign of love. But no, you may be giving away everything because you have surplus, because you've just had some extra money and you're getting rid of everything you have now to replace it with whatever money or income you've just made. So it doesn't necessarily mean that when you give away something, you're giving it away with love or that you love. So it doesn't, and I don't want to contradict myself here. Some people actually do give because they love, but we're just saying there can be cases where charity can happen, but it is not love. Another section that I like here, the same 1 Corinthians 13, and this would be verse 5. Love is not ill-mannered or selfish or irritable. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. How many of us say we love someone, but when they wrong us, we struggle to forgive. We struggle to let go. We struggle to go past what they've done to upset us. We have to learn to correct these things in our lives. It's work in progress. It's a day at a time. It's a day at a time. Love never gives up. How many times do we give up? How many times do we get fed up? How many times have parents disowned their children? Although most of the times we know that a love between parent and child is so strong that no matter what your child does, you always find it in your heart to forgive them. That is a kind of love we want to extend to the rest of humanity. And it says love is eternal. So I just wanted to share that particular passage of the gospel to just say, you know, love has many interpretations, but if we have pure love for one another, if we have sincere love for one another, if we start to practice sacrificial love, the world will be a better place and we will feel happier. And I like to touch on the happiness because sometimes our unhappiness comes because of our expectations. Maybe we've been loving to certain people and not had that reciprocated. Disappointment then comes in. We then start feeling sad, unhappy, lonely, despairing. We need to work on that. Now, my next question is, why is love misconstrued? And based on all of these different types of love that I have read, plus the different feelings that people misinterpret for love, I would say it's just because love has been misconstrued. It's been misconstrued because there are different interpretations to it. Sometimes it's for selfish reasons. How many times do you meet someone who tells a lie and tells you they love you when they truly don't? When maybe they just have an intention, something they want to gain. Sometimes it's for earthly pleasures and and satisfaction. There are times when someone might tell you they love you when they know deep down they don't love you. They just know if they say this, you believe them and you fall for it, and then they'll get what they want. So sometimes it's for selfish reasons. And therefore we always have to just pray and hope that we we meet people who can truly, honestly, sincerely reciprocate the kind of love we have for them and try to make it pure love. Now, I want to move on to a challenging kind of love. And the challenging kind of love is loving your enemy. How is that possible? We get told, love your neighbor as yourself, love your enemy, and if someone wrongs you, forgive them and love them. How is that possible? I am going to just go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 43 to 48. The reason I want to read this is because as Christians, if you are a Christian watching this, the ultimate Christian sacrifice that you can make in your life is to love your enemy or love someone who has offended you. So Matthew 5:43 to 48 reads, "You have heard that it was said, 'Love your friends, hate your enemies.' But now I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may become the children of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun to shine on bad and good people alike, and gives rain to those who do good and to those who do evil. Why should God reward you if you love only the people who love you? Even the tax collectors do that. And if you speak only to your friends, have you done anything out of the ordinary? Even the pagans do that. You must be perfect just as the Father in heaven is perfect." I love this passage because it just reminds us about the nothingness of life, really. We go around making a big fuss when someone upsets us. And sometimes it could just be a simple mistake. People even upset us sometimes unknowingly, but we would bear grudges on end for days on end. I want to draw your attention to the sections that resonated with me. Okay. I will start with verse 45. In verse 45, it makes it very clear. "For he makes his sun to shine on bad people and good people." God makes his sun to shine on bad people and good people, and gives rain to those who do good and to those who do evil. That means whether you're good or bad, the sun will shine on you. That means whether you offend someone or not, the sun will shine on you. Rain will fall on you. So God does not discriminate between good and bad people. And one thing I have noticed is that even bad people pray. Even people who have offended you pray. And God does not choose people that he answers to. He doesn't just answer good people. He answers good and bad people. He answers you and your enemies. He answers to everyone. Reason why, in my interpretation, I would say he does that because sometimes he wants to meet even those people who are not very nice, who are not very good, who make mistakes and who offend others. He still answers them to show them that he is a living God and wants them to change their ways. So God is always giving people opportunities. Remember, he came not for the righteous, but for the sinners. So if you're wishing harm on an enemy, you're on the wrong track. You need to just, it's difficult, but you need to change your course. Another verse that resonated with me, verse 46. Why should God reward you if you love only the people who love you? It's obvious that if you love people who love you only, then there's no extra gain because already your love is being reciprocated. But think about loving someone who doesn't love you back. That is where, as I was saying earlier, the ultimate Christian sacrifice is loving your enemy. Because it says here, even the tax collectors do that. Tax collectors love people who love them. And if you speak only to your friends, have you done anything out of the ordinary? No. Everyone would speak to their friends. So the message today is, let's keep loving. Just love. Love without expecting too much in return. As I speak, I found it difficult. It's not as if it comes easy, but it's a journey, it's work in progress, but it's something we need to do. We need to do for ourselves. If you're not loving your enemy, you're not freeing yourself. You're not living the fullness of the life that the God who created you wants you to live. And so I have come to the end of this reflection. Really, it was just to look at what is really the force about love. I don't even know if I answered the question, but what I'm certain of is that I was able to share with you what true love and sacrificial love really is. And you know, a good example of this sacrificial love is Christ's love for humanity. Because if he could come and die a shameful death on the cross for us sinners, and he could still do that despite the fact that we were living in sin, he was still able to come and sacrifice his life and die on the cross for us. That is an ultimate sacrifice, ultimate Christian sacrifice. Like, it's an example of what we should be doing for one another, even though I'm not sure how many of us can die for somebody else. But that is a true example of how to love someone without expecting anything in return. What can we give Christ for the death he died on the cross? Is that correct English? The death he died on the cross? I don't know. But yeah, it's just for us to reflect on it and to pray for the grace to love sincerely. I want to talk to young people who are in their late teens, early 20s, falling in love, seeking love, thinking about starting a home in the future. Please love sincerely and do not attach benefits to the love. Don't love someone because you want to gain something from them. Don't love because you want to use someone to achieve something. That kind of love can only hurt. Not only will it hurt the person you're falling in love with, it will hurt even you because you'll be making mistakes in your life. You might gain some earthly things or whatever it was that you wanted. But at the end of the day, deep down, when you know that you were not sincere in love, you will have consequences to face. So I'm hoping that this has blessed you. There are so many other things I could say, but I don't want to go too much. It's 30 minutes into the video. I think it's time to stop now. I've been going on and on for too long. And so I want to thank you for your time with me, for staying on through to the end, and to just say, please, if you haven't yet subscribed, do subscribe. And of course, be happy, keep being loving, keep smiling, just live a day at a time and enjoy. Have a lovely, lovely week, and hope to share with you in a week's time. Thank you and bye.